Hey everybody, Eatsley Headcut here, and just wanted to talk to you a little bit about the Tonali and the way that I read the Tonali, so you can just get a better idea. I know I saw these Tonalis on my website and also on Etsy, and a lot of times people have a lot of questions, so I just wanted to make sure that you all understand what this all means, right? So if you're watching this, you probably are interested in getting a tonali for yourself or for somebody else. And so what a tonali is, okay? Tonali is a Nahuatl word, okay? Nahuatl is spoken by millions of people today in Mexico, but back in before the Spaniards arrived, it was spoken in Tenochtitlan, mostly central Mexico, okay? And by many people, probably more millions. I mean, there was like 25 million just around the basin of central Mexico. So there's going to be millions and millions of speakers, by the time the Spaniards came about. So the tonali is a word. It's a Nahuatl word, and it's basically refers to your tonal. Okay, tonal is another way of saying like the sun's energy. Okay, or your potential. And so we're going to look at that, and you can get one here on my website, like I said. But I'm going to show you how to look it up yourself. If you don't want to pay, that's fine. Whatever. I have all of the the information that you need to kind of figure it out on your own here for free. So you should always feel free to check that out. But to start, I'll show you an example of a tonali that I did just the other day for somebody. And this tonali right here, it was a really interesting one. It was 7 tochli or 7 rabbit. And so this is what it looks like. And so as you can see, like a lot of people, are really just overwhelmed by everything that's going on this page, right? And so when it comes to the tonali, like I'm a Tolapoki, which is somebody who reads the tonalis. Back in pre-Columbian times, this was an occupation. The people would go to the community Tolapoki, and they would look for days, the best days to get married, or they would look for the best days to have an event or a ceremony. But the tonali specifically is looking at the day that you were born on. So the way that our ancestors viewed the world is when you're born, you would actually inherit a tonali, which is very specific to that day. It's very unique. And there are actually 260 possible days that somebody could be born on. And again, I have a lot of calendar resources on my website. You can check that out if you're interested in learning more about the calendar. But again, I just want you to understand the tonali and what it means. Like, how can it apply to our lives? Because that's always the follow-up question that I get. Okay, now I know, what my tonali is. What does it all mean? How can I make meaning out of it? So I'm just going to show you a couple of examples so that you can just get a better idea of how this all works. So this person, okay, they were born on this day, 7 tochli. Now, if we look at the associated tonali traits here, you will see that this day is a very, very good day. Okay, so there are very, very good days to be born on, and then there are very bad days to be born on, and then there are also neutral days to be born on. Okay, and so the way that our ancestors saw that is that, okay, you were born on a day, you inherit that the energy of that day. And so if it's a great day like this is a great day. Well, what they would say is something along the lines, which I'll show you. This is like the explanation page that I put with the tonali. But you'll see here, it says, combination of 7 and Totally presents a considerably positive fate to the person born on the day. However, this fate can be squandered through neglect, a lack of forethought, and a lack of diligence. So our people were really big on work. Like they wanted you to work hard, okay, so that the potential of your tonali can be fulfilled. So although you inherited this tonali, our people didn't think that, okay, that's just like who you are now, right? No, you have to like do the work for the potential of your tonali to be fulfilled. And that's what we see time and time again. So even though you're born on a really great day, you still have to work to maintain everything that comes with it. Now you'll see that there are certain numbers, like the numbers were perceived in a certain way, and there's always a reason for it, which I'll get into a little later, right? It's not just like 7 is good and 9 is bad. Like there's actually a rationale behind it. Now, usually, depending on the sign, you're going to inherit whatever is associated with that sign. Now, it does spell it out very specifically in a lot of the sources, which again, you can get them all on my website, that were published, or written before the Spaniards came, and also right after the Spaniards came. Like they tell you the specific qualities that go with Tochli, for example. So people born on Tochli days are usually fond of the outdoors, abandon family and home with ease. They have a desire to visit strange lands, and they're anxious. Okay, well, we can see those kinds of traits in a rabbit if you observe a rabbit. So a lot of these qualities come directly from the natural observations of that animal, or sometimes it's an inanimate object such as rain. Okay, so that's kind of where that comes from. And this person was born in the Trasena 1 Ejecat. Okay, now if you look, okay, so first of all, the Trasena is basically a week in our culture. Instead of 7 days, there's 13 days. Hence the word trece, right, from Spanish in the word Trasena. And so this is just specifying the week that the person was born in. Well, in our tradition, this is very, very important to know, because the week that you're born in actually tells you which direction you were born in, and every direction has qualities of their own. So you have the qualities of the day here. You also have the qualities of the week. So even though you might not have been born on 1 Ejecat, because you were born in that week, you share the qualities with 1 Ejecat. And so if we look here at the qualities of 1 Ejecat here, well, it's associated with Mictlampa or Mictlan. Okay, this is the land of the dead. This is the northern direction in our tradition is associated with the dead. So this is a really interesting one, because the day is a really positive one, but the Trasena, is associated with the death direction. Now, people who were born on this day or in this period, they were said to be Tlacatecolo, which means an owl person. Why? Because they are connected to Mictlan. So our people believe that people who were born in this Trasena had special abilities that other people don't have because of their connection to Mictlan. And so it really adds a layer to this tonali, which was really interesting, because when I did this for the person, they asked me, what is Tlacatecolo? And I explained to them, well, in our, the Spaniards would call them brujos, but in our tradition, it's more like somebody who has powers to do things, and they can either use their powers for good or they can use for bad. So they're either healers, or there are people who use it for bad, right? And so more like a brujo kind of category. And so this particular person was really interested because they said that they are training to be a doctor. They're going to be a healer, right? So it kind of fit in with their tonali. And so every time I do a tonali for somebody, this always happens. There's always a connection that they make that is really deep like that. And so that's a perfect example of the purpose of this tonali and how we can apply it in our lives, right? Like that person now knows, like, hey, in our tradition, according to our tradition, I'm destined to be a healer. Why a healer? Well, they were born in a Mictlan sign, a northern sign. However, they were born on a really good day. 7th Ochli is not associated with Mictlan. This is a really good day. And so you see there's kind of like this balance within this particular tonali, where if I'm reading it, I'll be able to say, well, you're probably going to be a healer, because you have these abilities and you were born on a really good day sign. And so, some people may not be born on a good day sign. And so that would probably indicate that they're probably not going to be a healer. They're probably going to use these abilities for other things that are a little bit more negative, right? And so that's how these two work together. So these are the two really, really most powerful parts of the tonali, right? Because they're telling you what your background is going to be all about. Now, there's a tonali patron. So for the specific day, 7th Ochli, you have Teot, which Europeans would refer to as a god, but of course it's not very good translation. And so this is actually the rising sun, okay? And then you have Mayawel, who is in charge of Magay. You can see the Magay here. And so this is for the day sign, specifically for Tochli. So we have a patron, Teot, okay, this is as if to say, like, they're guiding us, right? Like, so the person was asking me, hey, what can I do with the patron? Well, in our tradition, like, these would be your patron Teot. These are the ones that you would focus on, when you're giving offerings or in ceremonies. These are the ones that you would be more closely associated with. And so if it's time to give offerings, you're probably going to give offerings to them rather than any other Teot, because of course you're linked to them. The day numeral also has a patron Teot, which is here, Sen Teot. This is corn. You can see the corn on top of the head here on the headdress. And then the butterfly is also associated with the number 7, which can be considered to be a type of Nawal, which in our tradition is kind of like you would translate it as like an animal companion, right? And so I've had people who have told me that they have deep connections to their day numeral bird. Like, one time one person said, wow, mine came out as the hawk. And I have a special connection with hawks, and they had a lot of stories that went with that. So again, connections on all the levels here for people when they do the tonali. Again, that's the reason why it's important in our lives today, right? Because it's like you're building up your indigenous identity, and then you're seeing, okay, what is the connection to my life? Then you have the birth patrons, okay? These are all the Teot who, on your specific day, you can see the Tochli here and here and here and here. So on these days, these Teot were in charge of presenting you to the world after your birth, okay? So this is Tonakatequitli. He's giving sight or life to you, as you're born. And then after that, you have Tlalok. Tlalok is actually offering you up, okay, to your parents and to the world. Then you have Donatiu, the sun. So again, another connection to the sun here. So that's one of the things I told this person, like, you have a strong connection to the sun, to Mage and corn. So these are probably the tools that you would use and the offerings that you would use to the sun. And then you also have Tlasoteot. here who, oh, so sorry, Tonality was cut the umbilical cord, and then Tlazoteo gave the first nourishment through breastfeeding. And so all of this you can see in detail, just everything that I just said here is in detail, just tells you a little bit more about why or who these patrons are and why they're connected to you and what that all means here. Okay, so that's all laid out here. And that's pretty much all of the information that is given with the Tonali. I'm going to show you mine. I was also born in the same Trasena of one Ejegat, which is interesting. So we have that connection. And the connection that I would make with one Ejegat is that in pre-Columbian times, people who were born on one Ejegat or in that Trasena just happened to be the Tonalpoke, which is the people who read Tonalis. So in the tradition of our ancestors, they would reason that I'm able to give you information about the Tonali specifically because I was born in one Ejecat and I have those abilities that other people don't have. And so if we look, again, this is on my website. Just clicked on Tonali here to get here. This is my birthday, by the way. So I have my day, and this is my Trasena here. Okay, so the Trasena always starts with the number 1. Okay, so it goes 1, Ejecat, 2, Kali, 3, Quetzalin. Okay, the example that I gave you was 7 Tochli, and then mine is actually 3 days later on 10 Osomatli, or 10 Monkey. Okay, so this is my day. Now, when I read about this particular day, 10 Monkey, I felt like it really didn't go with me. And so I kind of wondered about that. So it took me a long time to figure out what exactly, why I was born on this day and what it means in my life, and so the thing that is interesting about this day is Osamati is associated with extroverted behavior. Okay, so they're considered to be the life of the party. People born in this day sign, the life of the party. They're always laughing, always making people laugh, always entertaining them, always happy and talkative. And so all of those qualities, I'm an introvert. I'm a very extreme introvert, right? So I don't really have extroverted qualities. And so that's why I was a bit confused, like, why 10 Osobati? I knew it was the correct day because, again, I've done a lot of work on the calendar correlation. So I know that this is definitely the right day for me. So why extrovert sign for an introvert? Well, I started to think about it over the years. I realized that my choice of occupation was one for extroverts. I'm an educator, and along the years, I also have become a consultant and a coach, right? And so I looked at it and I reflected on it, and I realized that although I'm not an extrovert, in order for me to have success in my occupation, I have to invoke my my inner Osomatli, my monkey, right? Because to be an educator, a consultant, and coach is just all about talking, right? And talking with people and being comfortable in front of a large crowd of people or working closely with a small group of people. And so I really honed in on that ability, and I really worked really, really hard to develop that. So I'm at the point where I can do it now confidently. And, when I'm doing it, when I'm talking, people don't suspect that I am extreme introvert just because of all of the practice that I put into it, right? And so that goes back to what I told you in the beginning. These Tonali, they don't just happen. The potential of your Tonali does not just happen. You actually have to work at it, which is what I did here. But for me, it was spot on, right? Because if I did not invoke the Osomatli and become or know when to exhibit extroverted behavior, I would not have success in my occupation. And you can imagine a person, maybe like an extreme introvert who is just so scared or just not willing to do that. You know, they might change their occupation, or maybe they just won't have a lot of success in the occupation they chose, right? And so that's what this Tonali is all about. It's just a reminder, like, hey, if I if I want to have success, I do have to be an extrovert in some situations. And so that is my connection here to my day of Osomatli. Now, it's really interesting because although everybody who falls on this day exhibits those qualities, it's really dependent on the number that goes with your day sign that kind of determines how this plays out. So I was born on 10, 5, 10 Osomatli. 10 is a really good numeral. And so as a result, it brings out, you would say, the good qualities of Osomatli, right? So you might say that, you know, the good qualities are you're well-spoken, you're able to entertain people, you're able to have fun, and those kinds of things. You're happy, you make others happy as well. Now, what happens is when people are born on Osomatli, but it's not 10, it completely changes, right? If they're born on 5, for example, 5 is a number that's in our culture is closely associated with excess. And so I actually did a Tonali for somebody specifically who was born on 5 Osomatli. And it was really interesting because those qualities from Osomatli that I mentioned, well, they are exhibited in excess. So for example, instead of being well-spoken, the sources say very specifically, this person talks too much. They're obnoxious, they annoy people. They tire people. And so that Osomatli then changes to something that is occurring in excess. And I'm sure you've all met somebody like that, right? I certainly have, where it's like they just don't know when to stop talking. They're just so obnoxious and they have no idea. Well, that person born on 5 Osomatli now knows this is your Tonali and this is the potential for your Tonali. And not only do you have to work hard, but you have to work hard to not go there where you're obnoxious or you're talking too much, right? Like you have to be super aware of that, and you have to kind of rein in your inner Osomatli in those kinds of situations. And so there's 260 different combinations. And so the one that you get just depends on when you were born, the time you were born. So I hope that this video has helped you to understand the Tonali a little bit more. If you want to know more, definitely reach out to me and we could talk. I know that a lot of people, after they purchase a Tonali, they'll ask for some, they have a follow-up question. So please feel free to ask. And I'm always here to help. Again, like I said, on my website, all of this information is available for free. So you can go here for the Tonali, you can put any date here, and it'll give you the information for people born on that day. And so you can click on these links and it'll tell you more about those days. For example, if I go back here, so we'll go back to, I was born on 10 Osomatli. Well, if I look at the number 10 here, well, the 10, my patron teot for the number 10 is Tezcatlipoca, and my animal companion is the horned owl or the Nawa. Okay, so now, I have had an affinity with owls. I have a lot of stories about that, and Tezcatlipoca as well. Now, if I go to my day, Osomatli, well, I'm here with Xochipilli. Okay, so those are my main patrons that I would be devoted to. And so again, yeah, you can get this information for free here. If you want to save time and you don't have time to do all that and research it all, again, I'll put a link here. You can click it and go ahead and purchase a Tonalli, and this will give you a detailed explanation of everything for your Tonalli. And again, I'm always here available for any questions that you may have. So just wanted to give you a brief introduction to Tonalli. So I hope that was helpful. Let me know again if you have any questions. Bye, everybody.